Hello everyone, good morning, good evening. Welcome to Cloud and DevOps batch 57. So before I start the session, I just want to give a quick recap on what's being covered in the previous session. Previous session, we discussed about passwordless authentication offers. Passwordless authentication can be done either by using PPK or PEM. PPK stands for putty private key. This needs to be used only if you are using Windows-based computer and at the same time, if your SSH client or nothing but the software that you have installed on your computer is putty. If not, if you are using tools like OpenSSH tools like Git Bash or the regular terminals that are offered on the top of MacBook or Linux machine, then it's preferred to go with the PEM. But we mentioned yesterday in the session, so once you have authenticated to, you have authenticated with the, once you have authenticated or once you learned how to use passwordless authentication, from that time, we are not gonna use anything apart from the lab image. Okay, what is the lab image to use? I think let me try to show you that. And the lab image to use is something that we have mentioned here. You can find that piece of information here. So lab image to use to learn Linux is learn Linux on CentOS 7, and the username and credentials of this are this CentOS and DevOps 321, and it's available only in the North Virginia. Why we have selected North Virginia? Because in North Virginia, things are little inexpensive. That is something we have discussed. Also, we discussed how billing works in AWS. Okay, is also something we have extensively discussed. Now, when you're talking about billing on AWS, exclusively when you're talking about the compute, okay, however, in any cloud, it goes by pay as you go. You would be billed for how much you have used. And at the same time, billing goes by pay as you go. That means you're gonna pay bill for how much hour you have used. Okay, and also I have mentioned, I have given a quick update on Elastic IP or the public IP address. Public IP address earlier when you are using it, okay, when you have taken a public IP address and you're attached to the server, at that time it was no build, but right now from 1st of February, Amazon has also changed that apart from 750 hours, if you use anything above and beyond that, you will be charged. Also, we discussed about what is a on-demand instance, what is a reserved instance, what is a spot instance, how AWS can offer spot instances for up to 90% discount is something we have extensively discussed, but we didn't get a chance to create a spot server, but we understood by how AWS can offer up to 90% of discount, okay, based on the leftover resources and the resources that were reserved by the capacity reservation. Also, we discussed about an instance tenancy. That means you can create a server on the top of a hardware where other properties or other clients instances can also run. That is called as a shared tenancy. Also, we discussed about what is a dedicated host versus dedicated instance. Okay, that also we have discussed. Whenever you want to run instances only on the hardware where your company instances or your project instances should only run, it's called as a dedicated instance. Dedicated host is nothing but you'll get an entire host. Okay, it's like a bare metal or a physical server you'll get, but you need to manage things of your own, but patching everything you are responsible. Okay, because in the infrastructure as a service, you are responsible. Also an interesting update. So let me try to show you. Yesterday there was an issue happened. Okay, so let me try to show you that. Okay, 1 second. So AWS has experienced an outage in US West 1. Okay, let's try to understand this point. Okay, because we are talking about, right, even AWS experiences certain outages. How do you come to know that? So let's try to understand that before we go ahead and create a server. Okay, so it's not entire AWS. So let me try to put it here. AWS in US-West 1 has experienced an IAM service outage for 3 hours. Okay. So, and they mentioned that it is an IAM mutable outage. Okay. So IAM is a service. Okay, just like AWS EC2. And what this IAM does, okay, for example, okay, if you want to create a user account on cloud, okay, what this service does. Okay, so what this service does is IAM user accounts. That means if in your organization, if anyone joins, if they want to sign in, they should have an IAM user account. It also creates something called as IAM roles. IAM roles are used for missions. We didn't talk anything about IAM, but I want to give an update. IAM service we typically use. IAM service we typically use. Okay, so we typically use. One second. So we typically use for authentication and authorization. Authentication and authorization. And this is typically used for authentication and authorization at cloud on AWS. All right. Now, what happened yesterday evening 5:30 PST? Okay. So AWS reported an issue saying that from this point of time, yesterday 5:30, already IAM user accounts, already existing users, already IAM roles, which are already there. Okay, they are experiencing authentication and authorization issues. Okay, authentication and authorization issues, and also you are not able to create. If someone wants to create new user account, new roles, that was not happening. Okay, and it took almost 3 hours. And even I was working in a project where we are using US West 1. How I got to know? So I was working in a team where my product manager got an email from AWS saying that there is an outage. And even by that time, we are experiencing authentication and authorization issues on the cloud. And then what we did, we immediately went AWS IAM outage. Okay, news, just say, come here. Okay, you can come here and look at this. So today, and if you come and look at this, okay, you can see this is what it says. AWS identity management global issue, okay, across the globe. But we experienced this issue majorly on US West 1. What they say, they clearly mentioned everything, okay. So yesterday, 5:49 PST, we are investigating the increased error rate for the AWS identity and access management. Authentication and authorization of the existing users, credentials, roles, policies are not impacted, but whoever tries to create a new user account, new role, all of them were impacted. And if you look at this, for every 30 minutes, they have given an update. Okay, it started at 5:49 and it got resolved at 7. That means almost 1 hour, 10 minutes, this issue was there. Okay, and they also mark this issue is resolved. Like that, whenever there is any issue, Amazon clearly mentions what was the issue from their end, what was the reason, all these things. But is this for everything? Is this for all the services? No, only for the IAM service. Okay, in the beginning of the session, I did mention that whenever you're having any challenges or anything, this is how we can come to know that. All right, guys, any questions on this, anyone? Questions? Are we good? Before I proceed further, anyone has any sort of questions? Uh, if anyone has any questions, you can raise your hand. And even before that, can anyone please confirm me? Is my voice audible? Shrikant, Anil, Asif. Yeah, Shrikant.
Yes, you are audible, Vilas.
Okay, all right, guys. Okay, so yeah, let's get started, guys. So today's agenda is very simple. Okay, so let's try to go and create an instance. Okay, so today's agenda is quite simple. Create a spot server. Okay, how to delete a spot server. Okay, spot server deletion is a little different. It's not just go ahead and terminate. It's quite different. We'll talk about it. And next, launch template. How to use launch template. Okay, how to backup a machine. Okay, so let's try to keep this as agenda. Okay, so let's get started, guys. Now, let me try to sign into the console. And one more thing. Okay, how to reach AWS. How to reach AWS account management. Okay, so a couple of people reported they got a message from AWS saying that their account is created or their account is completely activated. But whenever they are trying to launch an instance, whenever they are launching an instance and the instance launch is getting failed. And when we look at the error, it says your account payment method that you used is not fully activated. So when you are facing this, okay, you cannot create any of the instances. You cannot launch any of the instances. You might think that I got a message from AWS, but the payment details were not updated. Okay. Okay, how to get started there. And for example, whenever you are working, okay, you have got any challenge, you got any technical issue, or you need some guidance from AWS, how to reach AWS technical support. Okay, how to raise a case with AWS tech support. Okay, all these things I'm going to show you. So if you are a part of the free tier, okay, if yours is a free tier account, if ours is a free tier account, we cannot raise a tech support, tech case, technical case, but we can raise an raise a account management case. Okay, down the line, whenever you got any bill like 50, 100, whenever you get any bill like 500, 1000, 2000, 3000, when you feel that the bill is really high, you can also request Amazon saying that I'm in the phase of learning and this is quite expensive for me. If possible, try to give me a waiver. They are very generous on that aspect. If they know that you're a student or if you're in the phase of learning, definitely they're gonna waive it. Okay, even I got waiver almost 8,000, 10,000, 15,000 also waiver I got. How to reach Amazon? Okay, all these things will start. But since few of the people are having challenges in creating any server, one or two people reported, I would like to show you how can you reach Amazon for the technical or account management support. So first, let's try to sign in. This is my account and the password is already there. Sign in. Okay. Next, all you need to do is in the right, there is an option called as a billing and cost management. Can you see this? Or you need to come here. Where is that? Sorry. In the question mark, wherever you see the question mark, click on the question mark symbol. There is an option called as a support center. Click on the support center page. Support center page, you have two options, whether you want to raise a ticket with AWS for the accounting and billing, or you want to raise it for the technical. But you can see I cannot raise any technical support. If you come here and click this, it says, okay, I might be able to. Okay, if you see this, technical support is unavailable under the basic support plan. If you remember, we have three plans, right? Basic plan, developer plan, and enterprise plan. And technical support is available only for the developer plan and the enterprise plan. Okay, but that's fine. I'm there to help you. But with respect to billing, okay, whenever you are having any challenges with that, we can reach out to Amazon. Come here and you can select what was the issue. You can come and try to say, this is something related to the account activation. Okay, and select the category and account verification, general method, and payment method verification. I think Sandhya or someone, okay, you in your case, you are getting the payment method verification error. So all you need to do is come and select this and raise a request. And you can come here and next go to the next additional step and say that, okay, unable to launch instances even though my account is fully activated. Okay, this should be the subject line and just mention that, hi team, I have created a free tier account as a part of my interest in learning towards AWS Cloud, and I have verified my bank payment details using using the credit card, and and money was detected, including an email on account activation. But when I am trying to launch an instance, I could see that my instance launch is getting failed with a note that my payment verification is not completed. Can you please help me on this? Thanks. Okay. So if you want to write this in more in a professional tone, you can take Gemini's help. Okay, you can write this email in a more professional tone. Okay, Gemini is just like ChatGPT. Okay, I'm just using this to write things in a more better way, to correct all the grammatical mistakes and to sound more professional. All right, perfect. Just copy this and go here. So this is how you can take help from the ChatGPT. All these things, they help you in saving time. Okay, so I'm writing. Yes, I'm writing to inquire about the payment verification issue. I'm facing this. I established a free tier account with AWS to further. Okay, done, and then scroll down, and then next. Okay, have you added a valid? So you need to mention all the details. Yes. Okay, have you confirmed the credit and debit card cards are correct? Yes. And is this a valid? $1 is deducted. Yes. And have you contacted your bank? Yes. So in your case, Sandhya, you haven't contacted the bank yet. In your case, you need to select no. All right. And then submit the case. Okay, case draft is created and next. And whether you want to get this supported either web, which means through email or through the chat support here, or you want to have a callback. So prefer going with web, submit. That's it. Your case is submitted with Amazon. In the same way, whenever you're having any technical challenges, whenever you want to implement any new feature that's rolled out by Amazon, or whenever you're having any challenges in implementing what's Amazon told as a part of the documentation, or if something is not working as per what Amazon has mentioned, in that case, all you do is you need to raise a support case. All right. This is how you reach AWS. All right. Perfect. And could see a question, Raja, can you cover AMI roles and how to set up cost alerts? Yes, Raja. Talking about IAM roles, all these things, it's quite early at this point of time. We're gonna talk about that when the time comes up, but not right now, Raja. Okay, because we are following a curriculum. But whatever you mentioned, yes, we are gonna do that. We're gonna create an AMI. We're gonna create an alert whenever your billing reaches 500 or $100 or $50. Get an alert. We're gonna do all of it, but at this point of time. No, let's not go there. Raja, answers your question? Perfect.
Yeah, Manoj.
Okay. So let's go step by step. Okay. If we randomly go, we would miss certain topics. So just let's ensure. I'm gonna ensure that we're gonna cover most everything. Okay. How to Amazon support team one-to-one for any help? You just say call. Okay. So if you wanna make a call, you don't have to. They will call you if you give the number. All right. This is how we can reach Amazon. Perfect. So the first goal of the action is done. Okay. How to reach AWS account management done. Then how to create a spot server. We know how to create a spot server. Next, even before that, I want to tell you one more point. Every day, every time, whenever you want to create any server, what you're doing, you're coming here. Okay. You're coming here. You're launching an instance, right? Okay. You're coming here and you're launching an instance. And you can say that this is okay Linux lab image Linux lab server dev. All right, or CentOS 7 lab server dev done. And the AMI to use. Okay, what is AMI to use? I told you learn Linux on CentOS 7. That is the image that I have published that works with a username and password. Fine. Now I'm telling you how to create a spot server. Okay. Now this is the AMI that to select and ensure you're in the North Virginia. Select this. Okay. And then scroll down. I'm gonna go with the free tier only, which offers you a free tier. And I'm gonna go with a proceed without key pair. Can anyone tell me why I'm going with proceed without key pair? Because this machine is designed, this AMI is designed to work without keys. Okay. And this AMI is designed to work with a username and password. Then all you need to do is just select launch instance. But if you do that, it's gonna offer you a on-demand instance. But what if you want to launch an spot instance? Okay, so at the bottom of the screen, the left window, left panel, there is an option called as advanced details. You can come and select the advanced details. In the advanced details, if you scroll down all the way down, there is an option called as shutdown behavior. Okay, the shutdown behavior, okay, just select it as a stop. And at the scroll down all the way down, there is an option called as spot. Okay, and this is a tenancy option that I was saying, whether you want to run a shared hardware instance, that means on the top of a physical instance, even other customer workloads will also be running. And if you say run a dedicated instance, okay, that means it can run on the top of a hardware where only your company's infrastructure or your instances are running. Dedicated host, that means your entire physical host should be coming up. All right, and this is also not I'm interested about spot. Where is the spot? Where is the option spot?
G,
Mhm. Did I miss?
G,
Yes.
because
So here,
percentage supervisor.
Srikanth, please go on mute. Okay, select the spot instance in the advanced details section. Here you can come here and can select okay, and can select okay, in the customized spot instance option, select the spot. Rest of the options, let's not worry at this point of time. Select the spot instance, and at the same time you can mention, you need to mention resource type or the request type as persistent. Okay, if you mention the request type as persistent, then only you get an option to shut down the machine. Earlier the request is always one time, that means you can only create the instance and the only option was either Amazon has to terminate or you need to terminate, but there was no option to shut down the machine. But you need to select the option as persistent, and once it is done, all you need to do is just launch the instance. Okay, so just launch the instance, launch the instance. There is that. Select launch the instance. Now, what it's gonna do, let's see. It says what it says. Okay, the instance request initiation stop is not support. Oh, sorry. Okay, let's go one more time. I made a small mistake. Launch an instance. Okay, and I need to say CentOS 7 learning. All right, search for the image, learn Linux on CentOS. Come here. Now, all you need to do is proceed without a key pair. And then all you need to do is select the advanced section. And in the advanced section, there is an option called as spot. Where is that? Why I'm not able to find, just search spot. And once you select a spot, you get custom spot options. And in that, you need to mention request type as persistent. When you mention it as a persistent, it's gonna, okay, and also interruption behavior stop. Okay, interruption behavior stop means only when you select the request type as persistent and interruption behavior stop, then only this instance will be having the stop option. Perfect. Now my instance is launched. Now what you're doing is not really creating a server. Okay, and if you look at this spot, can you see this? But how do I come to know whether this instance is a spot or on-demand instance? Just by looking at this, you cannot know. Okay, now you need to understand one more point. Each and every resource that is created in Amazon will have an identifier. Just like when you join a company, how they give you an employee ID. Similarly, each and every resource that you create on AWS will have an instance identifier or an identifier. It's also called as ID. Okay, now you can, in the left window of the EC2, there is an option called as a spot request. Okay, and if you look at this, okay, the request, okay, so you are not creating a server, you are placing a spot request. And if you look at the spot request, and this is the identifier of the spot request, and what this request does, okay, and this request is creating an instance of type T2 micro, and you can also see that the status has fulfilled. Sometimes you can also see the status as pending. Okay, when you see the status as pending, that means Amazon has not processed your spot request, or Amazon has not granted the instance for the spot request. You need to understand this point. Okay, what in the backend it's going. Okay, how spot request is going. Let's try to understand this point. How spot servers are created. Okay, let's get started on this. So place a spot request. Okay, so you're placing a spot request, requesting Amazon, hey, grant me if there are any billing price. Okay, if there are any, what do you say? If there are any spot servers, then Amazon looks for the bidding. So what is this quote, Manu? You didn't talk about this. Yes, we didn't talk. Let's discuss that. So for example, as I mentioned, spot servers are like a gold mine. Everyone want. Why not everyone want? If someone offers you some better discount, obviously there will be some better competition, right? But why Amazon has to give that spot servers or the leftover servers only to you? Okay, why Amazon has to give it only to you? Guys, one point, I think a couple of people are saying enable the chat option. Yes, you have a chat option. Anonymous, I don't know who has sent. Yeah, guys, I could see your messages. Okay, you can even message me, guys. Okay, yeah. All right. So here, what exactly gonna happen is, okay, there are a lot of people request for the spot servers, but why and Amazon has to give that server only to you? Okay, fundamentally, when you place a spot request, it looks for the price you quote. Okay, then this quote goes for the bidding. Bidding is nothing but an auction. Okay, but it all virtual. Okay, so who are quotes high? Amazon mentions this is the minimum price and this is the maximum price. Okay, you can mention what is the price that you are interested. You can mention that, and if you are the person and if there is no demand, obviously you'll get it. But if you are not, if your requests are not processing, you can quote high, then your request will be processed. Where is all this going on? So let me try to show you here. So in the spot request, if you go and look at the pricing history, okay, before you place a spot server, typically we go and check here. For example, I'm interested about T3.large. Okay, T3 medium offers me 2 CPUs and 4 gigs of memory. And I'm also mentioning about, I'm interested about Linux. Now at the bottom, you can see, you can also mention which availability zone or what do you want, instance types. Okay, and if you look, okay, and if you look at the instance type, okay, in the last, if you see this at this point of time, zero, oh, why did I choose T3 medium? 1 second. I would like to go T3 medium. So, and if you look at the T3 dot medium, T3.medium. Okay, and as I mentioned, billing varies from zone to zone, region to region. Okay, so if you look at the date range of 1 month, in the last 1 month, if you look at the T3 micro, T3 micro is 0.0052 per hour. Can you see this? Okay, 0.0052 to INR, INR to USD to INR. If you look at this, that means if you follow the strategies that I'm following, and if you follow that, it would cost you, even if you ran out of the free tier, because we are going to deal everything on the top of a project. If you follow the way that I'm teaching, it just costs you 50 paisa per hour. It's very, very less. Even if you run 20 servers, it just costs you 10 rupees or 20 rupees per day. Okay, per hour. Okay, so that's quite inexpensive. Okay, that's how we can go and check what is the pricing of this particular product, particular instance at this point of time, and then based on that you can go for the bidding. And where did I mention the bidding? I didn't create any bidding when I'm launching an instance. You did. Let me show you that one more time. But I quoted the price as maximum. Come here, launch an instance, spot demo. Okay, learn Linux on CentOS 7. Come and select this. And at the bottom, I'm going to proceed with the keeper. And the advanced section, there is an option called as, okay, why I'm not able to find spot all the time. Okay, if you come here and if you look at the customization option, there is an option called as, I haven't kept any maximum price. That means, okay, if you don't kept the maximum price, that means you are ready to buy whatever the cost it is to a maximum of on-demand price. Okay, you want it at any cost, but you don't want if it's too costly, but I want to keep it a very minimal price. You can do that. Okay, you can mention 0.0005. You can mention that this is the maximum price. This request goes to the bidding, and this is the highest price in the entire bid. Your request will be processed first. But if you don't want to go into that rat race, you can just select this. Your request will be prioritized, and out of all the requests, if there is any competition, you will be given the high priority. All right, clear. That also means not all the time your spot requests are going to be processed, or all the time your spot requests are going to be addressed. Okay, many of the times your request might be addressed and your request might not be addressed as well. All right. Any questions? Perfect. So guys, chat is disabled. Is chat disabled? I could see that anyone can message me.
Yeah,
Okay.
Manoj, chat option is disabled. Now
Okay.
I can see it.
Perfect. Yeah, sorry for bringing into my attention. I just now enabled the chat window. Apologies for. Yeah. How about now? Yeah, perfect. Any questions, guys? Yeah, I would like to take a pause to take up any questions if anyone has. Yeah, I could see Soumya's and Soumya's question. Yeah. Yeah, Soumya. Naresh, Anil, Avinash. Wanna
Hi,
speak?
Manoj. I have a question.
Yes.
What,
Go ahead,
what is
Anil.
hello?
Yes. Go ahead,
So
Anil.
what is the difference between the sport and sports request and server which we are creating?
Sorry, what is the request between?
What is the difference between the earlier we create a server, right? Now we're talking about a sport. What is the difference? Where we need? this and where we need that.
Did you attend yesterday's session?
Yes, I attended it, but I could not repeat it. Can you repeat it again?
We are talking about AWS billing modes, right? So
Yeah.
in the billing modes, AWS has 3 types of instances, and one of the instances is on demand, where on demand basis you can get, but things are very costly. I have given you an example of Oyo Hotel versus taking a flat for rent for a year. And reserved instances where you can give a commitment that I'm gonna use it for these many years, you'll get some better discount. And there is also a concept called a spot instances where Amazon gives you the instances for 90% discount, but only for the instances that are left over in Amazon's data center. And that's the reason Amazon can offer up to 90% discount. And again, these are not designed to host the production grade workloads, and you cannot run the spot for more than 24 hours. Okay. And also I mentioned these are not designed for production based workloads, but if you follow certain strategies and technique, you can harvest even spot instances in the production infrastructure. If you want to run 5 payment servers, out of the 5 payment servers, you can run 3 on reserved instances and 2 on-demand instances. Even if these 2 are terminated by Amazon, that's still fine. They can still auto scale. Okay. So this strategy is called as a 60-40 strategy, where 60% of the workloads are persistent and concurrent, where 30 to 40% of the requests can be on spot. This way you can save a lot of money. Okay. And I also mentioned that in training, we're going to design the infrastructure keeping both these aspects in mind. Okay. Also, we discussed about what is capacity reservation. I sincerely request you to watch that session one more time, because we discussed this point almost an hour.
Okay.
In case if I was a little rush, you need to apologize me.
Thanks.
I
Thanks.
wanna okay, it's just a regular EC2 instance, but it gives you some better billing discounts on certain trade-offs. So if you are getting something for free, definitely there is some trade-off, right? End of the day, everyone make business. Agree? So those are the trade-offs. All right. Perfect.
Yeah, hi Manoj.
Yes,
So
Naresh, go ahead.
like since it is for the lab, we are using like learning on the CentOS image all the times.
Mhm.
So in the real time, like what
E-
image they are going to use it.
Even in the real time, they use CentOS or Red Hat or Ubuntu, either one.
Uh-huh. So
Okay.
I'm like in
But
the
you
free.
don't see any form of Linux servers. Either it's completely Red Hat, completely CentOS, completely Ubuntu, or completely Linux, Kali Linux. No, the infrastructure evolves from time to time, right? So for certain applications, the engineers who are working are comfortable with CentOS, or from certain engineers who are comfortable in Ubuntu. It's a choice, by the way. Okay.
Mhm.
So,
So for
but
the real
majorly,
time
if you
also
ask
it's free
me
of
what
cost.
they use, either Red Hat, CentOS, or Ubuntu. Out of
Okay.
3, it's in the ascending order: CentOS, Red Hat, or Ubuntu.
Okay. I'm like in the AWS, it's free of cost, or do we need to pay anything for the operating system? Usually, like we
It's free.
used to pay like.
As a part of the free tier, it's free. Unless until you select anything. Sorry.
Okay.
um, my Siri thought I'm calling her. Okay. So as a part of the free tier, it's free. But
Okay.
1 second. I think it's confusing with Siri. 1 second. Let me turn the internet off here. Yeah. Okay. Okay. It's free as a part of the free tier. But if you select anything apart from Linux, it's gonna charge you.
Okay. Yeah. And about the account
With
management,
Red
like
Hat, you need to pay for the subscription if you want
yeah,
support
got
from them. Okay.
okay, got
Yeah.
it.
But if you're going with Windows, obviously Windows is not free. You need to pay for that. Okay. But again, it goes by billing, not through licensing. But in the
Okay.
conventional world, if you want to use Windows, you need to pay a license. But here it goes by billing. You use it, this Red Hat Windows server for 45 days, you'll be billed for 45 days. Likewise.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. Salim
So
and
for
Shiva.
the one more question, like for the AWS account management, like everyone can raise a request, like who has access for that, or like do we have any dedicated username and password in the real time?
No. Not again. There is nothing like real time. Whatever the account I am using, even in projects, you use the same account, but with an enterprise grade. Okay.
Mhm.
The only difference is here you are accountable for what you create. There your company is accountable. That's it. Okay.
Okay.
But you would be signing in with your username and password, just like how you join, how they give you Active Directory username and password. So yeah, you can also create. That's no big deal.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah. Salim,
Uh,
go ahead.
Okay.
Thanks, Manoj. Since these are spot instances, and you said that we have to run only 24 hours.
Mhm.
So
No. You can only maximum run. So Amazon cannot guarantee you after Amazon can terminate the server at any time if you run it continuously after 24 hours. Okay.
okay, the maximum period is 24 hours,
Yes.
and after that we have to stop it, or Amazon is going to terminate.
Amazon terminates.
Okay, for suppose I stopped it, and can I reuse the same server,
Yeah,
or
you
is
can.
it okay?
The answer is may or may not be. Okay, if Amazon is experiencing capacity issues, your request might not be fulfilled again.
Oh, okay.
Spot is a very nice thing.
Manoj, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Is there any restriction to the AMIs, like only particular number of users has to use the AMI, or it's available, like there's no restriction on number of users for the AMI?
You are giving more money to them. There is no such restriction. The more number of instances you create, they make more money, right? But in organizations, you randomly don't use whatever the AMI that Amazon offers. You make your own AMI and you use it. Okay. For example, I want to teach Linux. What I did, I created an AMI that is easy and that is understandable. Whatever I want, I installed it and I published it, right? Similarly, in the organization, we maintain our own AMIs. Okay. There is a concept called as a patching. In Windows, we call as an updates, right?
Mm-hmm.
So AMIs offered in Amazon are bare, minimum, and basic. This is very important point. AMIs offered bare, basic, and minimum. Okay. What we do is take a base AMI, update all the, give all the updates. We call it as a patch all the updates,
Mm-hmm.
and install all the needed application. And keep it available for the team. So you can instruct people who are all falling under the category of the payment team, please use this AMI so that everyone can use this and that AMI will also be up to the date. Okay. For example, if you see any AMI, okay, for example, you go here and try to search for any AMI, okay, not owned by me, public images, and say CentOS, just search for CentOS. It shows you a lot of images, right? And if you look at the published date, when it was published, which means when it was created, and if you look at this AMI, it was published in the second month, that is February last year.
Mm-hmm.
That means someone has published this image in the 20th of February, right? That means the operating system that is available on this instance was 1 year old. Agree?
Yeah.
But if you create an instance with this AMI, what will happen? You will get an operating system which is 1 year old. Agree? But what will happen at that time? Your application is vulnerable. Your operating system is vulnerable. When I say vulnerable, it has very weak spot, high number of weak spots, and it is not up to the date. What will happen if you don't update your phone? If any new virus comes up, it is prone, right? Your phone is prone to that. And that's the reason you need to frequently update. And even in this training, we'll make sure how patching happens in organization. Usually quarterly or once in a month, we patch our machines. That means we update the machines. Make sense? So this is a very important question. How you are managing your AMIs in your organization. Okay. So we're going to talk about that. Okay, soon. Since you guys have asked, I have addressed it quick, but I'm going to explain this in a very detailed note. But AMIs offered in AWS are not in a format which can be readily adaptable or readily used. Okay. AMIs offered in AWS are bare, basic, and minimum. You need to use based on your need. Okay, today I'm going to show you how to make an AMI. Okay, so let me try to show all that. Okay, for example, let me try to show you one nice example. 1 second. All right. If you look at this, okay, so usually in organization, how it works. Okay, So you are a team. You are a team. 15 engineers, 15 developers who are developing payment application. I know I'm little advanced at this point of time. So for this payment application to work, okay, for the payment application to work, it should be CentOS 7. Let's assume these are the standards. Your machine, your AMI, your machine, your OS should be up to the date. Okay, and it should have the Python installed. Hold on the server. Okay, so create a user account. Okay, create a user account called as user X and give that user some permissions and create a config file as per the business requirement. If this is your requirement, okay, so whatever the servers or whatever the number of servers that the payment application team want to run, they need to have a server, and that should be CentOS 7. And every time they want to test the application or run their application, they need to install the operating system updates and then install the Python 3 software. And then we shouldn't use the word software in the Linux terminology. You should call it as a package. Since we didn't touch the Linux set, I'm using this. And at the same time, we need to create a user account. This is a requirement, for example. Give that user some permissions and create a config file as per the business requirement. If every time, if it is taking 1 hour of time, what if you need to create 10 servers? If 10 members in the organization are creating 10 payment servers, 10 into 10, 10 into 1, 10 into 10, almost 100 hours you're wasting, right? Agree?
Yeah.
So rather what we do is take a base image, okay, of CentOS, okay, install the patches, install Python, create a user, give permissions, define the config file. Make an AMI out of it. Private AMI out of it. Okay, and you can name this as, okay, so you can name this as, since we follow the naming standard, you can say payment CentOS 7. For example, if your team is team, team, for example, if your team is team Python, okay, and you can, okay, team Python AMI, you can mention this way. That means you need to instruct the team, anyone who wants to create a server, only use this payment CentOS 7 Python AMI. If anyone uses this, the machine that is created from this AMI will have all the patches, Python 3 installed, create a user account will be there, and everything will be there. So all you need to do is just run the application. So that's the reason I always say AMIs offered in AWS are bare, basic, and minimum. Does it make sense? Soumya?
Yes, Manoj.
Perfect. Anyone else? All right. So I received an email about apply for $300 AWS credit today. Please speak on this. So straight away, go ahead and apply, Bauraj. I think for some certain users, they get a credit. Okay, if you are eligible, you will get $300 credit. When I say credit, it's not a cash. Okay, you can use services of $300. Okay, you will never get. Okay, that's just an offer. Just encash it. All right. So now every time me go ahead and creating the server this way is a painful task, right? Typically in organization, we don't create all these things manually. Instead, what we do is we use a launch template. What is a launch template? Let's talk about it. Why launch template? What is this? What and why launch template? Okay, so even before that, what I'm going to do is I'll come here and I'll try to terminate the server. Carefully observe. I just terminated the server. What do you mean by terminating the server? Anyone? Anyone? What do you mean by terminating a server? What will happen if I terminate a server? Anyone? Anyone?
Like
Anyone?
destroying it.
What will happen if you terminate a server?
So end the session. Like
That's it. The server is destroyed, right? That means you are deleting it. Agree? So I terminated a server. Now what will happen? Carefully observe. I terminated a spot request, spot server. You know what will happen? If you delete a spot server, it creates one more spot server. Why? How? It takes some time, but let me show you that. So what you're doing is you're placing a spot request, right? You're placing a spot request. Okay, and the request is looking for the bidding, and if the bidding is approved, then the server is created. Agree? Okay, that means it's not you who created the server. You are placing a request for a spot server, and that spot request is creating a server for you. Now, if you go ahead and delete the server, you know what will happen? Since your request is already approved, this request is going to create one more server. Make sense? Guys, make sense? And that's the reason if you come here and if you look at after a minute or two, one more server would be coming up. Okay, come here in the spot request. Okay, since this is already active, okay, after a few minutes, your server, one more server will be coming up. And if you want to cancel this request, you need to come here and cancel this. Then if you cancel this request, the servers associated with this request will also be canceled. Now I just terminated the request. Now after some time, you would also see that this server, one more new server would be coming up. Okay, and that's the reason whenever I teach spot, a lot of people will come and say that, Manu, I destroyed the server, still one more server is coming up. All right, guys, that's how things are going to work. Okay, wait for some time, it's gonna come up. Now, every time, every day during the session and after during the session, I would create 10 servers, 5 servers, 6 servers. Every day come here and select this, select that option, do this. Every time I cannot afford a minute of time to launch a server. Okay, if I want to create 10 servers 10 times, I don't want to wait 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Instead, what we can do is we can create something called as a launch template. So what is a launch template? So for example, if I want to send certain sort of messages to anyone, okay, you get messages, right? So me, every time drafting the messages is a big thing. So what I do, I make my own template. What is a template? What are the things that you commonly use? Put it in a template and just change the name and send the message, right? That is called a template. Agree? Similarly, okay, so using this, you can define all the needed options for the EC2, and with a single click, you can get the server created. Okay, so keep in mind, one point is very important. You cannot include proceed okay, let me try to show you that. Okay, every time you coming and selecting all these things is a very time taking thing, rather than you can create a template. Come here and you can see, can you see this? I didn't create this server. I didn't create this server. Who created this? My spot server has created this. So whenever you are creating a spot request or spot instances, whenever you do not want, okay, I manually created it. Okay, but my spot server has created one more server. How do I know that? So copy this instance ID and come here and search for it. Can you see this? All right, that's how you can know the details of it. Now I do not want the spot server anymore. In that case, you need to cancel the request. If you cancel the request, whatever the servers that are associated with the server will also be cancelled. Again, the reason why I'm spending Spot more time is in organizations we use Spot more, and the moment in interview if they ask you something related to Spot, and if you are not in a position to answer things in a well, it won't look good. That is a very basic concept which majority of the people fail to answer, and that's the reason I spend good amount of time, because billing is something people are interested to listen, and that is the most important point of you turning into an entry into the organization. Okay, so always when you talk more at the billing level, where you save dollars to the company is something that matters a lot. Okay, now I came here and I cancel the request. Once you cancel the request, it cancel the server. All right, perfect. So yeah, perfect. That's what it is. Before I go to the before I proceed to the launch template, I just want to give an update. Majority of the people who has joined have confirmed their enrollment. People whosoever has confirmed their enrollment, you would have got an onboarding email like this. Okay, so this onboarding email contains all the instructions on all the meeting details, all these things. Okay, what are the details that you are going to use? Everything here you will find it. Okay, and from Monday session link, the meeting details are going to be private, because we're going to offer 7 free sessions and today is the 6th free session. I know majority of the people have already confirmed their enrollment and enrolled and are also associated to the groups. In case if you have confirmed your enrollment, if you have not received the email, please reach out to me or the coordinator, associated coordinator. We can help you. Okay, so yeah, and today is the 6th session. I hope you like the session so far. In case if you like the content and the sessions, please ensure you confirm your enrollment. All right, and with that note, I would like to proceed with the launch template. So why we need a launch template? So whenever you feel that every time me going and creating all the instances and all the options that I'm manually feeding, if you feel it's a really painful task, no, it's no longer a painful task. You can define all the options under a template and you can mention that. Okay, and templates are also widely used. So let's also understand this more. All right, let's get started on this. Now what I do is in the same EC2, what I'm gonna do is I'll come here and I'm gonna select a template in the instance type. Below that, there is an option called as instance template. And even before instance template, there used to be an option called as a launch configuration. That is something deprecated way long back. Okay, so there is no launch configuration anymore. Now it's all about launch template. You don't even see that. Till last batch it was there. Now it's even deprecated by Amazon. So there is no point. We don't even have to discuss that. Okay, launch template. Select the launch template. And here I have a launch template. So forget this. In your case, you won't be having. Let me try to delete this. Okay. So here I would like to create a template. And what should be the template name? Let's try to create a template. So I would like to say this template I'm creating for batch 57, and this is for Linux learning CentOS 7 launch template. Okay, I just named it like this. Just by looking at this, okay, I understood. Okay, this is a template that I have created for learning Linux using CentOS 7, and this will be the launch template. Now give the configuration or description if you want something more verbose. That's purely optional. And what operating system or what is the AMI you want to use? I want to use, okay, learn Linux on CentOS 7. Select that. Learn Linux on CentOS 7. Okay, you can see that learn Linux on CentOS 7. Select that. So you don't have to do the whole circus again and again, again and again, again and again. You don't have to do this whole feat. You can then this, okay, instance type. I would like to go with T3.micro because T2 micro, even though it is a free tier, it's little slow. Okay, in my case, I would like to go with T3.micro because things are little quick. In your case, you can still go with T2 micro because in the trainings, I cannot afford slowness. It's gonna cost me 20 rupees per hour. That's totally fine. Okay, and this option, proceed without a key pair. Okay, and this option cannot be accommodated, or this option is not available when you are creating a template, but I do not want to include this in the template. And advanced details, because I would like to create a spot, right? So also I mention it as a spot. Yes. So come and select the advanced section. Where is the advanced section? Yes, and then spot. Select the spot instance and then customize this. And I would like to select the request type as persistent and the interruption behavior is stop. That's it. Now you created a template. So you have the template in place. Things are smooth and easy. Okay, now you have launched a template. Now, if you want to launch an instance, you don't have to do anything. All you need to do is come here, select the launch from the instance. And what is the template? This is the template. That's it. How many instances you want to provision from this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many? That's it. All you need to do is scroll down and just select proceed without keypair and click. That's it. You don't have to select anything. Earlier you're doing 8 clicks. Now you're just doing 2 clicks. All right, now you come here, and if you go to the spot request, you can also see one more request that would be coming soon. Can you see this? And this request is created for t3.micro, which is in the active state. And you can also see that the status is fulfilled. That means Amazon has accepted your request and has provisioned your server. And if you come here and if you look at this, you can see that the instance is in the running state. Now you can mention the name. I would like to give the name as CentOS 7 Spot Server. Now I would like to connect. It is pretty much like any other server only. I would like to connect to it. Come here and select this. And how can you connect to the server? SSH CentOS, because the default user account for the CentOS is CentOS @ IP address. That means I would like to connect to the server, this particular IP address, using the user account CentOS. So hit enter and you would be connected to it. And you're saying, hey, from this machine, you're trying to connect to that particular server for the very first time. Would you like to register? Okay, that means this server details will be registered on the top of the destination server. And this is called as a footprint or a fingerprint. Okay, now enter the password. Boom, you're connected. Okay, now uptime is a command to create a server. Uptime is a command to see since when the machine is up. All right, guys. Any questions on this? I could see a couple of hands. Vishwanath and C. Vinod. Go ahead, guys.
Hi Manoj,
Hey,
Vishwa here.
Vishwa,
Yeah,
hi.
so you said like spot instances will be used for testing purpose and also in
That's again,
real,
I mentioned that's
yeah,
not really true. If you look at this, okay, I have also given a strategy. If you follow certain strategies called a 70-30 principle or 60-40 principle, okay, you can even use it at production. Okay, and as I clearly mentioned, and that's the reason I mentioned these are designed to host the production workloads. Okay, but this is not always true. Why? I have given an example. Agree?
okay. So even for testing purpose, for example, if some application team requires some servers, they will not continuously using these servers like after testing they will destroy these spot
No,
servers.
it will never be like that. So in any project, I mean, we didn't talk about this concept yet, but since you're asking, I'm telling in any project, okay, minimum they have 3 to 4 environments. Okay, any server which is production or any server which is customer facing or revenue generation company project, revenue generating application is the production or customer facing application, production environment. And it's not like when customers are not using, you'll destroy it. You'll scale that down. That means earlier, if you are running 100 servers, you might run it for 50. And this is for the QA. QA means quality analysis or the test environment. It's also called as a pre-prod. And this is called as a test or the QA environment. And this is a dev environment. So in some companies, they don't maintain 4. Instead, they also maintain 3. This when people are not using these 3, they are not going to destroy. They will be there. Okay. Anything rather than internally, rather than you guys using production, internally, you guys use these machines more. Okay. So if you are doing regression testing or if you're doing lots of testing, during that time, you would be using more. So you'll scale the product. If you're using 30 servers, you'll increase it to 60 servers. If you're not using, you'll reduce it from 60 to 30 or 20 based on the organization policy. But production, it's not like that. You'll never reduce it. Answers your question?
Yeah, but scaling means like, for example, you said like QA or dev, if they need 2-3 servers, so they will be using 2-3 servers. Suppose the testing and all, they
Yeah.
will destroy it, terminate
Yeah.
the spot servers.
Yes.
Okay.
Typically on the dev, you see spot mostly.
Okay, so because see, for example, dev, they will be doing the uh, they'll be updating the application and all. So if they are doing any changes to the application and they are testing, so they'll not keep the same kind of dev changes. If they are changing every time, if they are going to destroy the server, the code which they have made changes and all, it will be gone, right?
You need to understand one point. No one does things manually.
Okay.
Okay. If you are clear on the, okay, what is your background? Which technology you are working on?
I'm an DBA, Oracle DBA.
You need to understand one point. We don't do anything manually. Do you think that in Oracle, do you inject the schema manually? You use Flyway, right?
Yeah.
Injection of schema. Similarly, configuration management, nothing will be done manually, just for your understanding. You create a server, you get everything. Once the server comes up, I got everything. I don't do anything manually. In reality, that's where we are heading towards in the training. Even if it is lost, I create one more server, I should get everything in less than 1 minute. But if you are not ready to accommodate the 2 minutes of downtime, then Spot is not for you. It's all about trade-off. How much you can afford versus how much you are ready to afford. Okay.
Yeah, got it.
Again, you cannot say I am not expecting downtime and at the same time I want 90% discount. No, that's not possible. It's all about trade-off. What you can expect versus what you can lose. Make sense?
Yeah, depending on the customer requirement.
That's it. I also given you an example yesterday. What if you have 100 interns, rather than you provisioning them some 100 rupee servers, rather give them servers which cost 1 rupee by Spot.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, let me try to connect. I connected to the server. Now, what's next? Now, how to make an AMI out of it? Okay, so even before that, okay, I wanna make sure one point we are very much clear. If you want to learn Linux, what is the first thing that you need to understand? If you want to learn Linux, because we are doing all this, setting up the infrastructure, learning all these things, keeping the cost, all these things in mind to learn Linux. If you want to learn Linux, you need to understand these 3 points. If you want to learn Linux, consider okay. If you remember this point, things are going to be very smooth and easy. Okay. First thing, Linux is case sensitive. What do you mean by case sensitive? Let's talk about it. That means the files devops.txt and devops.txt and devops.txt. In English, as per English, all of them are same, right? Are different. Hey, what are you speaking? All of them are same. All of them are devops.txt, right? Yes. But if you look at this, this is case sensitive. Here, O is capital. This is a different file, devops.txt. In Windows, it's not like that. But here, if you look at this, it's case sensitive. So that means you should be very, 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 very careful. That also means user account. If user account is CentOS, for example, if you use, it will not work. It will not work. All right. Clear, guys? Clear? Okay, so let me try to show you that. Okay, so here rather than let me try to cancel this and try to give a small case letter, uppercase letter, and see I'm entering the password. It says incorrect because there is no CentOS key capital letter. Okay, because there is no such user called as CentOS with capital letter C, because it's case sensitive. Now if you try to use the same password with C as a lowercase letter, it will work. Okay, Linux is case sensitive. That is something I want you to remember if you want to kickstart a great career in Linux. And second thing, in Linux, everything is a file. That means whatever the configuration, whatever the things that you do, if you want to update some settings, for example, you want to change the properties of the system, you need to go and update a file. For example, you want to add some settings, you need to go and add something in a file. For example, you want to restart. Okay, that means you're running a command, something is updating in a file. Everything is a file, okay, in Linux, and there is no concept of file extension. Okay, and this is also one of the reason why Linux is more secure. Okay, a lot of people, lot of hacks, a lot of bad things happen on the graphical user interface machines. But in Linux, it's not like that. Why Linux is more secure? Because there is no concept of file extension. So what is the concept of file extension? For example, in Windows, okay. Okay, in Windows, we have files like sample.txt, and for example, say resume.word or data.ppt or data.exl. Okay, like this will be there, right? Here, what it is doing? Okay, here sample.txt is a file. This file is opening an application. Can you see this? This file is opening the application notepad. Okay, text notepad. That means what if this file is corrupted? What if this file is having some virus program, and this virus program is going to open this application, and there are high chances this application will corrupt you or affect your system. Okay, that means here in Windows, you're opening a file and that file is opening the application. But in Linux, it's not like that because there is no concept of file extension. Okay, so if you give in Linux, even I tend to use, in Linux, we tend to use, okay, sample.txt, okay, or error.log, okay, and sample.config. Okay, you might think, in Windows also there is a concept of extension. No, there is no concept of extension. Since we have used the Windows ecosystem such a long time, we are also used to it. Okay, as per Linux, it is just a simple name. Okay, in Windows, this is the name of the file and this is the extension. But since in Linux, there is no concept of file extension, so sample.txt is the name of the file. There is no extension. Okay, so in Windows, your files are opening the application, but in Linux, it's not like that. In Linux, applications open the file. Okay, so like how? For example, if you want to edit a file, you use a command called as vi file name. That means your application is opening the file name. Okay, it will have some consciousness. All right. So if someone asks you why Linux is more secure than Windows, this should be your answer. In Windows, your files open the application. What if the files are bad data, right? But in Linux, your application or the tools are going to open the file. Okay, this is something I want every Linux aspirant to know this point before we hit cloud and DevOps. Okay, and this is very, very important point. In Linux, there is no concept of okay, file extension. Everything that you see is the name of the file. All right. And most important thing, there is no undo option. There is no undo option. If you delete something, that's gone forever. That's gone forever. Okay, that's why, okay, whenever you update something, always, at least, unless we gain some expertise, always take a backup and do the changes. This is the best practice. Okay, these are very important points. All right, as I said, in Linux, everything is a command. Linux. So, okay, if you want to learn Linux, just Linux, it will take more than 1 year. That much vast Linux is. But do I need to learn? I want to become a cloud and DevOps engineer. Do I need to learn the entire Linux? Do I need to spend 6 months of time? No. We are going to learn Linux like a cloud and DevOps engineer. We don't go underneath the kernel level, what's happening inside the system. No. We'll work like a cloud and DevOps engineer. To get started, what all things are needed, we're going to learn all of it. In Linux, more than 1500 plus commands are there. Do I need to learn anything? No. Manoj, how many commands do you use roughly in a day? Less than 20. I'm going to make sure whatever I'm going to teach is sufficient enough to get started. And you'll be in a position, if you land into a situation where you want to explore with the knowledge that I have given, will help you to proceed further. Okay, I think we are almost close to the schedule. With this note, I would like to end the session, and we're going to meet tomorrow same time. Okay, and the meeting link remains the same, and there won't be any changes. Okay, so meeting link remains the same, and we're going to meet tomorrow same time. All right, guys, meeting link remains the same. All right, I could see a couple of hands.
Manoj, this is Salim.
Yeah, please tell me, Salim.
Manoj, can you scroll up to the previous text?
Yeah. So
Not
one
this
thing,
page.
1 minute, Salim.
Yeah.
So guys, with that note, I would like to end the session, and I would like to take up the questions, and we're going to meet tomorrow, same time. Please ensure you get things activated. From tomorrow, things are going to be very practical. So from Monday, we might be starting the projects. We're going to do 2 projects, and one project is a very big project with 13 servers, and another is a very small project with 4 servers. We're going to do that, and then we'll learn things on the top of it, like how we try to work like we got a requirement from a customer, how we're going to implement it. That is a strategy that's called as a greenfield nature. We're gonna hit the greenfield approach starting from beginning to the end of the training. And that's for today. And I'm gonna stop the recording and I'm gonna take up the questions. Thank you.